Alrighty, it is currently 8:18 a.m. Excuse me, it's 8:58 a.m. And this is the pattern of the window that's appearing at this location on the wall. And as you've seen, as late as 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it flows up to this side of the wall. That's entirely demonic, and it's absolutely impossible. That's called activity creation. In the engineered light, that's how you're understanding the intent to use a method of audible activity in the same way that demons that are masquerading as housekeepers. This is group stalking by housekeeping in the venue, and they're also demon possessed. They're engaging in stalking with audible activity, and while I'm inside of my hotel room, while I'm in the bathroom particularly, that's bathroom monitoring. Holiday Inn Express and Suites is a sex offender engaging in bathroom monitoring. That's a specific sexually violent act, and they're doing so while I'm in the bathroom, and the ongoing sound of boom, 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 boom in the walls and in the floors while I'm in the bathroom. And this is the evidence of what is impossible to ever be the case while the sun is over Fairfield by Marriott in San Diego, California, just as one example. In addition to remaining over Alvarado Gardens, outside of the window of my leasing office when I'm sitting at work at 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 p.m. And LAPD is stalking under a fake sun that remains directly over me at that leasing office, and all the methods of impossible light activity. This is the same pattern of conduct and the audible activity that demons are creating while they're group stalking at Holiday Inn in Hesperia, California. This sex offender's face is captured up close, and she's group stalking inside of the hotel rooms, and she's also doing so before checkout time because they're maintaining presence. And then the psychopaths, the demons that are engaged in federal stalking, they will continuously engage in conduct that is not characteristic of good business practices, disrupting the rest of the customers while you're cleaning out rooms while the vacated patrons have left, which happen to be CAL FIRE, who were group stalking on their way out, group stalking on their way in with the same demons, maintaining activity creation, vacuuming three and four times in a day while the impossible light activity travels down the wall, across the floor, and up the opposite wall, doing so while aware of what I'm doing inside of a private space, including the bathroom. And so the head demon, group stalking in the hotel room 321 yesterday during the 7 a.m. hour, and you saw that amber colored engineered light that poked so far outside of a hotel room and was on the floor outside of room 309. You saw it on the floor, and that was at 7:20. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. This is evidence of what is, first of all, not sunlight. Second of all, what is direct evidence of group stalking, the impossible light activity. This is also the evidence of what is the specific environment, the light source, not sunlight and sun, but light source and engineered light, because engineered light coexists with the absence of the light source not being the explanation in plain sight. For example, the fake sun that's in this position over my hotel room window at 3 o'clock in the afternoon is not the explanation for this engineered light that appeared on the ceiling above me yesterday. Okay, so this is the direct evidence of federal group stalking and monitoring, and demons who are group stalking, including 9 BIB 638. They're going to federal prison. They were documented and engaged in group stalking with San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, who were group stalking at 11 o'clock in the morning when the fake sun's remaining over me in Costa Mesa at Best Western at the same exact time. 7-Eleven is engaged in state surveillance. These are demons that are pacing, monitoring in this specific environment with demons that are providing audible activity while the whole population is group stalking with them. 8HEX 509 is one of them, engaging in a sex offense, group stalking with impunity. Federal stalking is also underway. That also happens to be a demon that's engaged in, that's engaged in criminal conduct that they know is being documented right now. This is the demonic activity that is also criminal. And I'm showing you the phenomenon. This is the light source that's at 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:02 in the morning. The entity is maintaining a light source while I'm at Alvarado Gardens, for example, April 29, 2024, at 9:03 a.m., Universal Waste, a demon that's emptying the garbage. In the same way that a demon is engaging in housekeeping in relevant position under the fake sun, that's not going to be in Hesperia. At 9:03, the demon that's driving the Universal Waste vehicle, who's going to federal prison, because this is the criminal conduct that he was engaging in, that company was engaging in, they're going to be prosecuted for a sex offense in the same way that Holiday Inn is, and the employees are going to federal prison, all right? And they act with impunity while federal stalking is underway. At 9:03, which is the time right now, it's 9:02, preparing to be 9:03, the fake sun is over Alvarado Gardens, which you see through the window of that Universal Waste vehicle that's on the property in the parking lot of Alvarado Gardens at 9:03 a.m. And while that demon drives by after emptying the garbage, which was the means of relevant positioning, light activity, and amplified audible activity, these demons are pacing, driving in opposite directions, this one and that one, under the fake sun that's not over the parking lot to be seen through the window of the passenger side of the Universal Waste Systems truck. And then while they drive off the property, what is it that you see? You see the engineered light that moves all across the building 1818. This is captured at 9:03 a.m. on April 29, 2024, and it was heavily referenced with regard to the criminal conduct that, for example, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department is documented on the record as engaging in. This is the same exact criminal system that's underway here amongst the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, the San Bernardino County fire department, and as the state of California is already fully subject to a prosecution, CAL FIRE has demonstrated that every county that it is affiliated with is fully engaged in the same exact criminal system that CAL FIRE is engaged in as a state agency. It's a domestic terrorist, not a legitimate state agency. They happen to be engaged in fire fighting while they're engaged in surveillance. That's the real purpose of CAL FIRE, and that's why they're present at this venue where the light source is seen outside of this hallway window, and this is the same hallway window at 2:22 p.m. It's right here. That's not the sun, that's not the natural environment either, and that's not literally scientifically possible to naturally occur. That's providing context regarding the audible activity inside of my bathroom at this hotel, where you saw yesterday at this same hotel in this same building, the fake sun is remaining over my hotel window specifically, which is not along this edge. My hotel, you have to go toward the center part of the building where the fake sun is in alignment with my window as late as 5 p.m. This is the same building. This is evidence of the impossible. When you're juxtaposing it with where I lived at Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles at 9:03 a.m., this is not the sun. This is also not sunlight that's ever going to be the product of the actual sun. This is evidence of what is the light source, which is not has not connected to the light source itself. The entity that has a light source, for example, above us does not create light activity in this manner above my head, which is what you documented. This is the evidence of engineered light that stays on the hallway, moves across the floor and up this wall as late as 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is where you saw San Luis Obispo. That is the demons in training affiliated with CAL FIRE, speaking to the public corruption that San Luis Obispo is fully engaged in. And so you can reference the documentation that's uploaded to the Google Drive folder. You will see the name and the image of a demon-possessed corrupt government actor who was a fire chief over a corrupt fire department that's fully engaged in state surveillance. Their fire stations, speaking to the name of this terrorist leader over a terrorist organization, San Luis Obispo, who's again coming and acting with CAL FIRE, who is a terrorist organization as well. They're crossing paths. And this is at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, where the light source is over the same hallway window. It's currently 9 o'clock. The light source at 12:49 p.m., which is when CAL FIRE is crossing path, and the light source is still here at 12:49 p.m., and the engineered light is along the floor. This is entirely demonic. You're looking at the shadow of the water bottle appearing on the to the side. This is speaking to light activity, engineered light, and everything that's occurring in that environment is criminal for purposes of what is group stalking. Light activity, relevant positioning, and my voice is audible activity. When I'm inside of a hotel room, the entity is engaging in what is stalking amongst the population, whose audible activity creation. Chase is making money while demons are group stalking through its drive-through, and they're engaging in what is profiting while federal group stalking and monitoring is underway. They're in relevant position. Chase, who was a documented terrorist, by the way. The entity flying over my head, flying in circles over the Chase Bank in Los Angeles. The engineered light that's captured at more than one Chase Bank. The fake sun that's over me at every Chase Bank that I've documented. In Glendale, in Los Angeles, in Doherty. This is the light source that is, again, in relevant position to Chase. That's speaking to the criminal conduct that Chase is engaged in this country. And I'm going to prosecute Chase. Chase is engaged in a sex offense while the light source remains over me inside of my hotel room, while demons are engaged in criminal conduct on behalf of the whole entity, including the commercial actors who are group stalking, all in relevant position. All of this, they're all going to be prosecuted. This is the state of California engaged in group stalking, while a light source that's not clearly not the sun, not going to be seen through any window of a Universal Waste that's driving in the parking lot of Alvarado Gardens at 9:03 in the morning, and never is driving a vehicle on the road creating any engineered light. This is stationary engineered light. While Universal Waste was driving in Alvarado Gardens, this engineered light was dynamic. It was moving all across the apartment buildings, if you recall the record. It's already on the record, okay? This is the same exact pattern of conduct now occurring in Hesperia. And so the entity is maintaining a light, so you're mindful of the fact that it's here after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And the engineered light moves down the wall, across the floor, and up the opposite wall. That's entirely demonic on its face. This is where the state is group stalking. That is CAL FIRE, who are demons engaging in a sex offense, engaging in harassment and terrorism, and they're of the same exact demon possession. That's the condition that are the group stalkers who are housekeeping. Holiday Inn Express and Suites is engaging in a sex offense, terrorism, group stalking, with knowledge of the fact that it's being documented. And I will show you the light source that's directly over this hotel in the same way that it is after 5 p.m. All right, it is currently, by the way, 9:08 a.m. That's relevant positioning. And everybody staying at the hotel, this is light activity. While the lights come on, this is light activity method, group stalking in the rooms. This is surveillance while I'm documenting who's in the path. And they're in the path when they're in hotel rooms, but I'm documenting who's in the path when the entity is filling this hotel. This is the the hallway when I'm showing you the light source that's present through the window at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock, the same hotel, the same side of the venue. And then at 5 o'clock, it's outside of my hotel window. That's the isolated maintenance of a light source that's not the sun. This is where the entity is stalking with noise. And it's entirely demonic. This is P.O.C. And it is currently, again, 9:09 a.m. That's a sex offender crossing path, group stalking at the hotel. And it's a terrorizing act of group stalking when the entity, I have 4 hands, and that's not the result of what is light that's above you. That's engineered light. They're group stalking on the elevators. It's the same light activity in the parking lot, by the way, when you have street lamps. Your shadow in front of you and behind you and multiple shadows. Now you're mindful of the fact that the light source is outside of the hallway window. As I move around, so does the fake sun. So the light source that's seen out the side of the venue, seen facing 7-Eleven, is directly over the top of my head right here, which is how you know what that demon in room 316 is doing, and she's group stalking me. And here's the fake sun that's no longer over the edge of the window, of the building. It's right in perfect alignment with me. That is the same demon that was group stalking in the middle of the afternoon, walking the dogs who are creating activity, group stalking on video, while the light source is in the same exact position, by the way. In the afternoon, when this same exact demon, who knows that they were being documented, this is what the entity engages in. And that's Providence. Group stalking, walking her dogs. This is what was happening in the afternoon, and the light source was in the same exact position while I'm looking at it outside of my window. Hours from now, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. That's also evidence of non-movement of a light source, and the evidence of what demons are doing, positioning themselves with methods of light, positioning themselves in the engineered light while a light source remains over me. The head housekeeper, who was group stalking inside of room 309, she and all of the rest of the little worker demons of Holiday Inn, not an elite venue whatsoever. In addition to that, they're a bunch of sex offending group stalking psychopaths, okay? And I'm continuously capturing up close images of their faces. Any of them that are not from the United States as a place of origin, meaning born here, they're going to be shipped here as soon as they go to federal prison. They're serving their sentence and they're going back to wherever they came from. As many terrorists that can be deported out of here, that's as many as will be deported. The entity is engaged in this pattern of conduct, and the fake sun remains here at 9 a.m. So let me walk over toward my room, because this is where the fake sun moves in alignment to me. And at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're looking at the same position while I'm inside of the hotel room, and this demon's pacing all around in the parking lot, walking her dog, group stalking in the afternoon where the fake sun's in the same position. Right now, it's in alignment with my face. It progresses to be at the top of my head while I stay at the same address. That's a scientific impossibility. Everybody in that environment is engaging in criminal conduct. This is my hotel room, and when I'm inside of it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, this light source is still here in a position at the top of my head so you can see it while I'm outside of my window. When I'm inside of my hotel room right now, the entity is keeping it at a vantage point where it's right above the roof. And you can clearly see that it's not over the hallway window like it was while I'm upstairs inside of the building. That's speaking to group stalking by the demons who work here. And those that are affiliated with the state, that's CAL FIRE. Those are violent sex offenders. Speaking to the sexual violence, the domestic terrorism that Ventura County is engaged in. The name of that domestic terrorist, over the fire chief over the Ventura County Fire Department, is a matter of public information. And that's speaking to a demon, a corrupt actor who's dangerous and who is corrupt over a terrorist organization who needs to be removed from that position. This is the same for, again, Joe Tyler, the CAL FIRE, and all of the training, all the little worker demons who are in training, coming and engaging in a ritualistic method of being recruited by group stalking someone, which is satanic, and they're maintaining presence in the satanic environment. None of them will become firefighters. I'm going to let you know that right now. They will be, first of all, they're going to be prosecuted, and second of all, engaging in criminal conduct in violation of federal law. They just met their demise, and they will never have anything to do with any fire department. They will not, as a matter of documentation. Camarillo, San Luis Obispo, and I documented Merced County, who were not engaged in any training. The entity wants to engage in conduct so as to avoid the identification of a corrupt leader over that fire department, and you are still pointing fingers at San Luis Obispo County. That's every police department, every county, every sheriff's department, every fire department. And that is a matter of information that's published for informational purposes regarding corruption in the state of California. where state surveillance is underway with a bunch of demons. The entities engaged in this conduct with regard to what is also not only San Luis Obispo, but Camarillo. So that's Ventura County and San Luis Obispo, that I uploaded for purposes of exposing the names of these demons who are over these corrupt departments, who are engaging in a pattern of conduct. So it's public, the entire state is engaged in monitoring. So the state is taking turns coming and directly engaging the pattern of conduct as with regard to CAL FIRE, okay? But the entity is doing so on an ongoing basis. San Bernardino County Fire Department is engaged in 24-hour surveillance as well. And so is the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. And the entity is engaging in what is coming to Hesperia, where the fake sun's remaining over my hotel room. Very highly unintelligent. The entity has the light source over the hotel window just moments ago while I'm inside of the building. And the entity is inside. This is openly demonic. You are clearly seeing the demonic. You're going to look at the two videos together, and I often do screen recordings, but this is why I do it, because right now at 9 o'clock in the morning, this is the same position where it's at over my head in this same exact manner when I'm inside of the building at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and the pattern of that window is above my head. That's impossible light activity. You have a shadow on the ground. There is no street lamp or sunlight that creates your shadow above your head, that creates the light on the inside, and also it's reflecting off the buildings and onto the side of the trucks. Recall the documentation where U.S. Foods is group stalking. So the sun is in a position where it's setting, and the sunlight is so powerful it's ricocheting off of the window, and it's appearing on the side of the U.S. Foods truck. A documented group stalker, a sex offender, engaging what is group stalking overnight while I'm publishing videos onto YouTube. The entity is engaged in the ongoing pattern of conduct, and I'm just referencing CAL FIRE because they're fully, that's the state, engaging in the same exact pattern of conduct. They don't need training in the demonic. These are demons. The same exact behavioral patterns, the same exact tactics, in other words, with regard to stalking with audible activity, and I'm showing you the environment that persists, and that environment is a scientific impossibility. The sun is not moving whatsoever while it's still over my head in the same exact manner while I'm inside of that building hours from now. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 6 hours from now, 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the evening, this light source is still here. And the documentation showing it's still in alignment with my window when it's setting after 6 p.m. That's the pattern of conduct, and it moves as I move. That's why now it's getting back to the edge for it to be in a location where you could see it outside of the hallway window. That's the evidence of group stalking by Holiday Inn Express and Suites. And all those psychopaths group stalking as CAL FIRE exits the room, they're maintaining presence. It's surveillance. Demon-possessed group stalking housekeepers. Okay, the entity is engaging in what is exceedingly violent, exceedingly peculiar and demented sexual violence. Filling the room with the sound of pounding, hammering, knocking, stomping, booming, heard through the walls, heard through the ceiling. There's nobody above my room. It is as demonic as the fake sun remaining over me all day long. These are demons engaging in terrorism as an entity, harassment as an entity, upon federal stalking. That terrorizing environment continues and increases the more that I document. And people like AWKC 506 are going to federal prison. They're engaged in systematic conduct. They're engaged in criminal summoning as I documented it. They're routinely group stalking with the state, which represents CAL FIRE. They're going to federal prison. So are all the employees that work at Holiday Inn, where you're looking at this light source that's nowhere near Alvarado Gardens. You're looking at my shadow that's moving as I move, speaking to the immediacy of the presence of that light source. This was the demon that you saw group stalking in the afternoon, 917 ULV. And that video where the fake sun, hours from now, is at the same exact location, and that was a demon intentionally engaging in crossing path while he's walking down walking down this direction, crossing path, light activity. That's the intent that is deduced from all of the entity that's group stalking you. That's how you know that you're intentionally engaging in it. And that's a prosecution. 917 ULV is going to federal prison, and that's a sex offender. And they're on video group stalking under the scientific impossibility that the son would ever be in any position such that he has any evidence engaging in anything other than terrorism in the United States. The perpetual sex offense in the shoes of the state, for which he's going to federal prison because he's also engaged in federal stalking. It is currently, again, 9:17 a.m. This is P.O.C. This is called just impunity, just stalking in the past. Somebody is always maintaining presence, looking like they're doing something under the fake sun. It's called relevant positioning, light activity, and it's the mentally ill that engage in that conduct. And it's highly unpersuasive. They're going to find themselves in federal prison and subject to routine mental examinations. P.O.C.